Let's go. Happy Tuesday and surprise, welcome in. I thought we would do an emergency live just to chat for a little bit. Hope everybody's having a good start to your week. There's a lot of crazy stuff going on that we're going to chat about because why not? I had a little bit of time. I figured I'd hop on, talk to you. Let me know how you're doing in the chat. Leave me a big roll tide. Let me know where you're watching from. Like, share, do all the things. We're going to talk a little recruiting tonight. Obviously, the early signing period starts tomorrow. Alabama is set to sign a pretty daggum good 2026 class, but not without a couple of losses here in the next couple hours, potentially. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about some potential flips that could come Alabama's way, and how Alabama strategically could look forward to doing some things. Sorry, Jeff, roll tide. This was like a spur of the moment thing, man. So that's why I just hopped in here. Adam, what's going on? Roll tide from LaGrange. J-Bake, as always, good to see you. Don't be shy, chat. If you're watching, if you're lurking, give me a roll tide. Let me know where you're watching from. Leave a big thumbs up. If you're watching this after the fact, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever the case may be. And welcome to Waaaay Offsides, your favorite source for all things Alabama. I'll be hanging out with Clint Lamb over on Cover Crimson this week, talking some recruiting, but I figured I'd jump on here and talk today. J-Bake has been working hard behind the scenes, trying to figure out some stuff. So have we. Lance, what's going on, man? Good to see you. Happy to see you here in the impromptu show. I know this is kind of out of character. We don't usually do Tuesday shows. Our lives are on Thursday night at 8 p.m. Central Time. But, you know, sometimes you got to keep it spicy, right? So, Lance, what do you do? Do you live in Dallas? Lance's wife, we pay Lance to come on the show. That's good. What's up, Steven? Steven's one of our Waaaay Offsides members. You want to become a Waaaay Offsides member, do that today. Helps keep the show free for everybody else. We'd love to have you. Sorry, checking out a couple things while we're getting started. Just giving it a couple more minutes, letting everybody get in here. Steven, how's your week going, sir? Hope it is going fantastic. Mine's going pretty good. Can't complain. Yeah, all right. Let's just jump in. We'll talk some recruiting. Alabama's set to sign a pretty impressive class starting tomorrow. You've got some guys that are set to sign tomorrow. Some will sign on Thursday. First of all, I want to talk about Jared Curtis. I don't know if you guys have been keeping up with that saga all day long. Curtis, the five-star quarterback, has been committed to Georgia for a long time, has officially flipped his commitment to Vanderbilt. It got leaked earlier today by On3, Hayes Fawcett. To no avail. Of course, there was some drama surrounding it. Jared looks like he hadn't even notified his family, his coaches, anything like that. It got leaked to On3 somehow and got put out. We kind of all knew it was coming, but I think Curtis and his family kind of wanted to keep this quiet until he could do it things the right way by Georgia and Kirby Smart and that staff, and let them know before they saw it on social media. That did not happen, thanks to On3 and Hayes Fawcett. It got blasted out. And Curtis actually just posted, and I'll just read it live here to you. So we'll do it this way. Jared Curtis posted this an hour ago to X, probably to Instagram. I haven't checked Instagram, with the header that says "Anchor Down." Said, "This morning I was really disappointed to see some media put it out that I flipped from Georgia to Vandy. I actually hadn't told anyone my final decision, not even my parents or agent. I wanted to talk to the coaches from both staffs after school and practice were over and have one last heart-to-heart with my family before making an announcement. Never had a chance, and that was really disappointing. I haven't said much the past couple of months. Obviously, there's been a lot going on, but I just wanted to control what I could on the field and focus on winning another ship with the boys. And that's what we've been preparing to do on Thursday." He goes on to say, "I do love Georgia. I love the coaches and players there. They have been so good to me and my family. I know they would do everything to help me be successful. They have been the best program in the country for a reason. You're wrong on that. However, the past year, it's where I wanted to be and definitely where my parents have wanted me to go. That's part of what makes this so hard. You try to make everyone who has been good to you and done so much for you happy. And when you can't, it sucks. But I got to walk my path that feels right in my heart. At the end of the day, this has to be my decision. Almost there, folks. Being here in Nashville and seeing what Vandy has been doing this season has been amazing over the past few weeks. I felt more and more that I want to be part of that, to be close to home, to play in front of my family and friends, and to be what I love to be. And I'm go read it over on there. Yeah. So, according to Curtis, he wanted to get it out before everybody else did. Didn't come out to play, but five-star quarterback Jared Curtis has flipped his commitment from Georgia to Vanderbilt. Kind of all saw that coming. Gunnar Stockton looks like he's going to be in Georgia for a little bit longer. It's going to be hard for Curtis to see the field. He'll likely play at Vanderbilt. Paint a bigger picture of how wacky college football recruiting has become. We call these commits, and I feel like that terminology loosely enough because there's so many variables that are pulling folks from here to there. There's always been flips, and there's always going to be flips, but it's mic issues. What's wrong with my mic? Hold on, just a second. All right, I'm back. How's that? Is that better? Somebody tell me. Better, worse? Somebody let me know if we're good. There we go. All right, we're back. Sorry about that, guys. My mic's been acting up all day. If it happens again, we'll just end the stream, okay? But all right, for Alabama, we talked about Jared Curtis a little bit. Let's talk about Alabama. Just kind of looking at the work that like Brett Greenberg, Tim Watson, those guys do have a little bit of intel for you. You can expect some potential flips for Alabama in the next couple of days. Could be tonight, could be tomorrow, and all of those are going to be three-star guys. Brian Williams Jr., three-star wide receiver. Jabari Barnett, three-star running back, and then the one that really kind of stings a little bit is JJ Finch. I'm laughing at your comment, Lance. The Tide's probably going to lose all three of those guys. Now they do go get a couple of guys today. You get the 3-star edge out of Daphne, and they are now favored to land Bryson Cooley, 4-star offensive lineman. Flip him from LSU. I don't think they're done. I think Alabama is definitely still looking at some wide receivers. Samson Gash is still on the board, even though he is not going to sign until February. That doesn't look as good. But you do have some names that are coming up off of decommitments. Kenny Darby's one, potentially. There's a lot of names out there that Alabama's, I'm sure they're going to make contact with. A lot of people are kind of going to, they're going to freak out. People freak out when 3-stars commit to Alabama, and they're going to freak out when they decommit. But seems like right now those are the 3 that are likely to not sign with Alabama this week. There was some smoke around Nolan Wilson. He had been taking visits in other places. A lot of folks, if a commit takes visits somewhere, it doesn't mean they're fully committed. That's kind of the mindset here. But he kind of shut that down today and said, hey, look, I'm locked in. It's Bama. I'm going to sign with Bama tomorrow. I think he's signing at 9:30 tomorrow morning. He did acknowledge that it was very close with Miami. You're right, Lance. You're right. Sometimes those 3-stars are good. It does suck that you're going to lose a couple of guys, a couple of depth pieces. Javari Burnett, I completely understand. He has been absolutely overshadowed by Xavier Crowell in this class, as he, I don't want to take away from the work he's done to get the recognition and offers that he has, but Crowell's a different beast when we're talking about 5-star running back, the number 2 running back in this class. So Bama will sign him tomorrow. Brian Williams Jr. Alabama's got a pretty deep wide receiver room that has a lot of youth, a lot of talent that could return. I mean, next year there's several guys who are getting, pretty good significant snaps right now who could return. And so you look at, obviously you're bringing in 5-star wide receiver Cedarian Morgan. As of right now, Owen Cabell is still committed. So a lot of competition there. He will likely, I think, flip to Auburn. It looks like. I think Jabari Burnett will end up at Illinois. And then JJ Finch, the one that I said stings a little bit because we really were hoping Alabama would get a premier pass or edge rusher in this class. He looks like he will probably end up at Tennessee. So, Lance, that's a really good point. Now, I think that's you kind of got me. This is exactly where I'm going with this. Top 4 or 5 linebacker since Deontay Lawson. Yeah, it looks like it's problematic. However, I think what Alabama will do, and I've been saying this for a while, is they're going to address that via the portal and JUCO. You're about to see a lot of talent enter the portal with these coaching carousels. It's already started. It started today. Finch was already replaced with the guy from Daphne today, Lance. But you're already seeing it now. Alabama is going to supplement a lot of what they're doing in the 2026 class moving forward with the transfer portal. And I think because they're going to play on the stage in the SEC championship game against Georgia, getting bumped up in the rankings tonight to number 9 gives them a little more comfortability with losing the SEC championship and still making the playoff. That's going to help. I think Alabama's going to be fine. So Metz was a 4-star. But I think Lance is wanting like top 5 linebackers. I think Lance is reminiscing about those Saban days a little bit. But Lance, I would beg, or I would say that because of how well Kane Womack has done with his defense, it probably will be a little more appealing to some of these linebackers that are going to be in the portal. So you're going to get some talent out of the portal. And to Tobias's point, yes, the kid from Daphne, dude, he's long, man. He's so long. And I think at this point, as fans, we have no choice but to trust this staff and their ability to evaluate talent. Who are we to question it at this point? Latsier Brooks, the 3-star wide receiver, has been fantastic this year. Tobias is talking about London Simmons, who's been fantastic this year. Dijon Lee, I know he wasn't a 3-star guy, but still coming in as a true freshman, they knew he was ready to play. He's had a couple of plays here or there where he kind of got burned, but ultimately he's looked fantastic. This staff has done a very, very good job, with talent evaluation. And I think they'll continue to do that. I know on our end, everybody's kind of concerned with the defensive line and the linebackers. Again, I think that's going to come with JUCO and the transfer portal. There's going to be a lot of SEC guys that are going to be jumping in that portal soon. You got to think Texas A&M, Georgia, Ole Miss. A lot of these kids are going to wait until after their season's done, after the postseason's done, to announce that they're jumping in the portal. Bama will definitely address it. They'll definitely address it there. We are kind of getting the best linebacker in the country right now in Xavier Griffin. So, guys, I'm telling you, because I know what's coming. Once these decommits or these flips start being announced, especially, you're going to get one to Auburn and Brian Williams Jr., a lot of people are going to start panicking. And then, again, these are the same people who were pissed off because Alabama was getting commitments from 3 stars and not every 5-star at every position just a few months ago. But there's nothing to panic about, okay? Looking at Alabama's wide receiver room where it is, even if they lose a couple of guys, and you're bringing Sadarian Morgan, a guy like Brian Williams Jr., who has great measurables, to Tobias's point, he has great measurables. It was going to be hard for him to see the field. It absolutely would be very difficult for him to see the field. Same thing with Javari Burnett. JJ Finch probably could have if he could have developed. But, he's been flirting with other schools for a little bit. So, there's nothing really to panic about tomorrow. And I do think that there's going to be some more surprises. Cooley is a big surprise for Alabama. That one is a big one. That's a guy that I was really bummed out when LSU got that commitment. So I'm excited about it, man. I don't expect there to be too many fireworks, but there is the potential for Alabama to make some serious noise tomorrow. I don't think they're done. I think there's some people in the chat, Jay Bake, a couple that would probably agree with me that Alabama will be able to take advantage of first of all, some of these coaching shifts, these coaching changes that have gone on, player uncertainty, things like that. So I wouldn't panic too much when this starts. And if you've looked at it, it's not just Alabama, man. I mean, Georgia lost a couple today, decommitments. LSU has lost several, which is interesting, given everything that's gone on with Lane Kiffin this past week. It's just that's how it is across the board. If a kid's not going to get significant playing time early and they feel like they're worth more money than they're making, they're going to go somewhere else. That's just the nature of college football. This is way off topic, but that's why when you look at what Kalen DeBoer has done his first 2 seasons here at Alabama, he has the same regular season record that Nick Saban had in his first 2 seasons. Not saying he's going to be as good as Nick Saban, but what I am saying is that there is an argument to be made that could be more difficult than when Nick Saban did it, because just about everybody in the SEC is good. Just about. Not everybody. That wasn't the case when Nick Saban started. Alabama was just that bad leading up to Nick Saban taking over. So, absolutely. I just feel like Bama's going to be fine here, right? Also want to prepare yourselves for when Alabama finishes their season. They're going to have several people jump in the portal, and it's going to happen rather quickly, and it's going to feel like a barrage, and people are going to panic and they're going to freak out. That is just what college football is now. Okay. That's just what it is now. We talked about that, Eric. We talked about that. Curtis likely, Gunnar Stockton's going to be there for at least another season. Curtis likely wasn't going to get significant playing time early and just felt like Vanderbilt was the place he could go do that. I think for Bama, some significant names to look at in terms of portal. Lance brought up a couple: Cole Adams, Richard Young, at the wide receiver position. There's some guys that may bounce, but I think overall the talent that Alabama wants to keep in Tuscaloosa, they're going to be able to. And again, with what's going on right now, with all the decommitments and everything that's going on across the college football landscape tonight, that'll go on tomorrow, Alabama's going to be able to capitalize on some of that. They're not going to get everybody. They're not going to get the guy that you want. right? Again, we have to trust the staff to do their evaluations. There may be a 4-star guy that decommits from Ohio State that you think would be a great fit at Alabama, and he may not be. I talk about this a lot. Alabama kind of finds itself in this flux between what it used to be and what it wants to be, because you still have that Maj Podge of old school meets new school. I think that's why we've had some continuity issues with the offense on the offensive line. And I think as we get more and more of DeBoer's guys in there, you look at Parker Brailsford, look at what Michael Carroll's been able to do this year. Bama's going to be fine. So we have to trust their talent evaluation, right? Have to trust their talent evaluation. Yeah, Lance, I wouldn't be surprised if Yonze was mentioned as being drafted. I feel like it would be good for him to come back another year. Samson Gash, I don't know. I felt really confident about that for a while, Adam. But the last I heard, chat, correct me if I'm wrong here, he pushed his signing back to February. And I don't know how well that bodes for Alabama in the long run here. We'll see. We'll absolutely see, but I'm not sure. I think for Bama, though, in terms of drama, it got as dramatic as it's going to get a couple of nights ago with the whole Zion Gibson fiasco. I do think I know what happened there. And so basically, I'm just going to tell you, this is my thought. This isn't what actually happened. This is just kind of me connecting some dots. There was an account that posted a breaking news graphic saying that Coach Mo was going to be taking the DC position under coachship at Oregon State. I think there's the potential that Zion Gibson saw that and, acted quickly. And once they realized it was not true, that's what that communication was. Do I think Ryan Williams will hit the portal? No, I don't. Look, despite how he's used, I think Ryan Williams is very, very much aware of where he, as an individual, has come up short in his sophomore year. I did a video back in July talking about the idea of Ryan Williams having a sophomore slump because of what we saw towards the end of the 2024 season. He started dropping passes, right? He wasn't utilized as much. That carried right over into this year. Now, it was easy to explain that away because they started using him in the slot. It was getting hit and dinged up a lot. But Ryan Williams will tell you before anybody else will where his shortcomings are. And despite, how many balls he drops, despite how many targets he gets or what he's doing, he's still the most popular player in Tuscaloosa. Now, that's not to say it can't happen. It won't happen. I have a hard time seeing him do that. Now, the other side of that coin is Bach. Him and Bach are very, very close. If Mbakwe leaves, which I kind of expect him to leave, Ryan could go with him. If Oregon comes calling with a big check and takes both of those guys, could. There's a lot of rumors out there floating around what's going on with Ryan Williams. I'm not going to get into that because I don't know. But Kalen DeBoer addressed it and he said, look, he was out there, but if you watch what was going on in the Iron Bowl, they were double teaming Ryan Williams the entire game. At least from what I saw, they were double teaming him. Ty Simpson's fighting for his life. And just with the body size of Isaiah Horton and how aggressive these guys hit, Auburn's a very, very aggressive defense. I think a lot of the game plan was to get the ball to Horton above Ryan Williams. Just me, but yeah, you might be right. He might be, man. He might be. And it's the thing with Ryan Williams. I would not be surprised if he comes out against Georgia and just shows his ass. Just has like a crazy showing. That coming out party like he did last year at the Georgia game in Tuscaloosa. I wouldn't be surprised if that happens. I also wouldn't be surprised if Jeremy Bernard and Isaiah Horton are the primary targets again. Everybody, I think we all have to understand that Ryan Williams is a really, really good wide receiver. I'm not going to take that away from him. Is he the most dependable wide receiver on this team? No. Ryan Williams is the showman. He's the showstopper, right? He's the glitz. He's the glam. If you're looking for reliability, which Alabama has needed to stay in the hunt up until this point, it's Jeremy Bernard. We talked about that. Isaiah Horton gives you the strength. You got the speed with Latsier Brooks. You've got the showmanship and the crazy circus catches, playmaking ability with Ryan Williams. And then you've got Mr. Reliable, the guy that when all else fails, you go to, and that's Jeremy Bernard. I was more shocked that we didn't throw the ball to Jeremy Bernard as much in the Iron Bowl as we did to Ryan Williams. Just me. So I will do, Lance. I'll check that out, man. So, do we still have a chance to get QB Elijah Haven? I knew this question was going to come. I'll be honest. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how Haven views Lane Kiffin. I mean, Ole Miss really wasn't in play much before Alabama became the favorite in his recruitment. It was LSU at one point, and then it kind of leaned towards Florida. I don't know how much that was LSU being favorite as opposed to Brian Kelly. I would assume it's LSU. Elijah Haven could do well in that offense, and it may change where he looks at. Like, he's a 2027 guy. We still got a long way to go. He will certainly end up on campus in the spring and summertime. So we'll be talking about him a lot through June, August as we get ready for the season to start. I think right now Bama's probably still the favorite, but again, you just saw Jatori Williams decommit yesterday. He said that he rushed the process, this and that. Completely respect that, man. We haven't even signed our 2026 class yet, so I honestly feel like these 2027 guys shouldn't even be verbally committing anywhere. But we'll see. I don't. It's not out of the realm of possibility. I don't think we're all doom and gloom over it. You also have to look at, you're bringing in Jet Thamala. Jet Thamala, if you are not familiar, we had him on, did an interview with him. Very, very impressive young man. Absolutely lighting it up this year. He lit it up last year. You're bringing him in. You're bringing in Trent Seaborn. I get it. Don't let the stars blind you. Alabama, even without an Elijah Haven, is very set up at the quarterback position for a long time. So not too worried about it, So, all right, let's see. Let's look at some comments. You guys talking a lot about Ryan Williams. This is what I'm saying about Ryan Williams. It doesn't matter how he performs. You guys are still talking about him a lot. Like, he's still the most popular player in Tuscaloosa. And so the opportunity is still there for him to be great. I think he will be. I think he'll need it his junior year. I think we'll tell the story of Ryan Williams. I think that'll be the legend of Ryan Williams. I think we can be too hard on these kids sometimes, especially if they drop a ball in a crucial moment, things like that. I get it, but I don't know. Being critical is one thing, but sometimes we can be overcritical of these kids. So I try to be easy. Sorry, I'm trying to do like 4 different things at one time, so I'm getting a little distracted. Let's see. Let's look at the questions here. Bear Fretwell being recruited as a tackle. I believe he's being recruited as a tackle. But I think he is one of those guys who can kind of, he's your multi-tool guy. He could probably do a little bit of both. So, I wouldn't be surprised if he played a little bit of guard as well. Smitty, the problem is with Bach, though, man, is who was he going to beat out, man? Who was he going to beat out to get on the field? You know what I mean? No, I don't. That's a good question. And no, I don't. Kalen DeBoer was asked about him a couple of days ago, and he said, as of right now, the situation hasn't changed. I don't really know what the future looks like there. I have some speculation. I think that maybe they're just trying to wait and see how some of these things play out, the legality of it. But no, I don't think he's going to play this weekend. That's a great question, Lance. Probably. But, Lance, you got to give Talty some love, man. You got to give Talty some love. He hit 2 big kicks in Jordan-Hare Stadium. Maybe we take our foot off the gas a little bit. on the Connor Talty stuff. What do you think? Do you think we should start Keelan Russell next year if Ty Simpson stays next year? Just want to know your thoughts. I think in a weird world where Ty Simpson comes back to Alabama, Ty Simpson will give you the best chance to win a national championship. I think you play the guy that gives you the best chance to win a national championship. Not saying that Keelan Russell can't. I'm just saying based off of experience, it's got to be Ty Simpson. In saying that, this is a what if in a world where Ty Simpson is projected as a first-round quarterback this year. If he goes in the draft, he's gone, man. I don't think this is necessarily a concern. I think the question becomes, is it Russell or Austin Mack? And I'm sure that will be heavily debated for a long time through spring ball all the way through summer until the season starts. So sorry, just reading your comments. Mac looks better, looking better and being better. You got to see, you can't base it off of, you need a sample size, man. You need a sample size. Can't just be, one or two outings. You need a pretty solid sample size. So, but Ty's gone. Ty's definitely, no matter what he does the rest of the way, he's going to be a pretty high pick, I think, in the NFL draft. Could be the first quarterback to go. There's some boards out there who I still think have him that high. So, definitely wouldn't stress too much about it. Okay. What does Smitty say? Ty's projected. Yeah, I agree, Tobias. I agree. Absolutely. Yeah. But I think he's going to be a first rounder. The draft class, the quarterback draft class is not that fantastic this year. Somebody will go get him. I think Cruz wants the Saints to go after him. So what are ticket prices? Let's look. Why don't we look? Probably ridiculous. I'm looking it up for you. How many people during a live show are just going to look up ticket prices for you? We'll go to SeatGeek. We're not sponsored by SeatGeek. It's just the first thing that popped up under Google. Oh my goodness. Their website is not user-friendly, man. Okay, here we go. December 6th, you've got some short seats for about $300. Let's see. Not buying those. No, sir. No, sirree. We only want, let's say we want 2 tickets, right? We want to sit in the lower bowl here. Let's look. Man, there's like nothing available. 50-yard line. Oh, that's Club Row. Club Row is about $2,000 a ticket. Down in the lower bowl, you're looking at about $800 to $900 a ticket in the lower bowl. So, is Ty playing with an injury? I don't know. I don't know. Could be. Absolutely could be. Everybody's like Austin Mack or Keelan Russell. Austin Mack or Keelan Russell. It's interesting because I want to say Keelan Russell, but that kind of goes against what I just said about Ty Simpson having the experience. Austin Mack has been in the system longer. Obviously, this coaching staff understands that if Keelan Russell's not on the field, they potentially could lose him. So I don't know, but I think most of the fan base, is going to say Keelan Russell. So, they are, Steven. They're absolutely Steven. Jeff says Jet Thamala. It could be, man. That dude's a gunslinger, brother. Absolutely ridiculous. Do you guys hear those? Can you guys hear those bells? Can you guys hear that? I have to show you what it is. But all right, let's go back and talk a little bit of recruiting. Like I said, if you're just tuning in, according to basically everybody who covers recruiting, you can probably expect Alabama to be to not sign a couple of their 2026 verbal commits. Those guys likely right now are Brian Williams Jr., Javari Barnett, and JJ Finch. Brian Williams Jr., it looks like he will flip to Auburn. He was on a USF visit not long ago. Barnett's probably going to land with Illinois, and then Finch will likely end up with Tennessee. It looks like All okay, all fine, understandable. Alabama's already kind of making some noise in the flip department themselves. Definitely the concern for Alabama fans is pass rush and linebacking position. I think Alabama will address that D-line, pass rush, and potentially linebacking in the portal. But there's also, they brought in a bunch of really good youth at the linebacking position. You're bringing in Xavier Griffin, who I don't think will play right away, but Luke Metz, the little bit we've seen him play, he's looked fantastic. You brought in Duke Johnson. I think if you get Yanze Pierre back next year, can Quay come back another year? Let's see. I can't remember his classification. I want to make sure I tell you guys the right thing. Quay's a sophomore. Sure. Yeah. Quay comes back another year. You're going to have a killer pass rush right off the bat. If you get both of those guys back. I think Alabama's going to be fine. So I wouldn't worry too much. Like I said, I've been saying it for months. For those of you who have been with the channel, I felt like they were going to probably use the portal strategy or JUCO to do that. They've already gone to the JUCO level for a couple of guys. So, I think they're going to be fine. That's it. J Sports Cards. Absolutely. James Smith, man. Another guy, just like last year, starting to come on hot here towards the end of the season. Bama's going to be fine. They're going to have a ton of talent next year, a lot of youth, but that's Lance. Thank you. I'm happy somebody said it. Here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. Everybody wants to step into the starting role as soon as they get on campus. Billy Napier. Billy Napier is not a great head coach, right? But he understands players, right? If you watch the SEC documentary before the season started, he talked a lot, and Nick Saban has talked about this too, talked a lot about throwing kids into the fire before they're ready, and the pressure to do that from the players, from fans, from boosters, and because what it does is it destroys their confidence. And when that happens, man, that's a hard thing to bounce back from for some of these kids. So I think that the smartest players understand that if they're not playing, if they're not getting the starting time, that like what Ty Simpson did. Sure, I'm sure the allure to transfer was there, but he stuck it out, and look at what he's going to be a playoff quarterback this year. I think at this point, despite what happens in the SEC championship game, unless Alabama gets blown out by like 40, they're going to make the playoff. So not too worried about it, guys. Not too worried about it. Who's your favorite running back and our running back this year? Daniel Hill. Yeah, I agree with you. I think Daniel Hill's the best. I will say I don't know what happened. I don't know what changed, but Jem Miller started to show that wiggle a little bit in the Iron Bowl. He looked pretty good until he got injured. But I think Daniel Hill is where we go from here. It might be interesting against Georgia because you may get a combo of Daniel Hill and AK Deer a little bit. And I think that'll be pretty sexy to watch. You know what I'm saying? So, absolutely. So, all right, guys. Well, that is all for the night. I've been on here for about 40 minutes. I'm going to go hang out with the kiddos, watch some Anybody watching Stranger Things yet? Don't spoil it for anybody, Lance. But we're going to be doing a live preview Thursday night. Like I said, I'm going to be on with Clint Lamb over on Cover Crimson. I think tomorrow we're going to record, so we'll see. Got a ton of content coming out tomorrow. You guys be sure to like, share, do all the things. We appreciate you. You guys are the best. Honestly, I have a blast every time we go live. It'll be Thursday night at 8 p.m. Central Time. So have a blast every time you guys do this. It just you are so active. You're engaging. You members like Steven are fantastic. Lance is hilarious. There's a lot of stuff I can't put on the screen that Lance says, but if you usually 90% of the time, if you see me cracking up on the screen, it's because I read something Lance said. Yeah, Josh, thanks, man. We're happy to have you. But as always, say your prayers, read your Bibles, wash your hands, horns down, all the things. You can't hear me. Roll Tide.